Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live. Happy weekend. It's a Saturday, beginning of the weekend. Hopefully, everybody's doing okay. So, what's the live subject for today? Well, I'd like to talk about F-1 visas, those are student visas, and I'd like to talk about how to extend them, what you need to do, paperwork, and so forth. Okay, before we do that, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb so that I don't get 10,000 beeps and buzzes during the live, because I know you won't like that, and for me it's harder to concentrate. So just a minute, sorry, give me a minute. Do Not Disturb, and let's make it for an hour. Just a minute, 1 hour. There we go. Okay, that's better. Now we each have everybody's attention. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and I will answer whatever questions you have up until the point where I have to leave. And then we'll go from there. Okay? So let's get to it. So an F-1 is a student visa. Okay? And a lot of times people think that with the student visa, that they have to refile a petition or they're not sure what to do in order to extend. So let me clarify. First of all, when you get a student visa, it's generally on a D/S. Okay, that means duration of status. So it's exactly what that means. That means that the visa is valid for the duration of how long the course is. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 5 years, whatever it is. Okay? And that's how that works. So the fact of the matter is that if you do it right, you don't even have to file an extension with USCIS. You can do it with what's called the DSO. That's the designated school official. Okay? And the designated school official, assuming that everything's in order, can extend your status. So what you have to keep in mind are a couple of things. First, you can't extend your status if you're already out of status. Period. Okay, you would have to do an F-1 reinstatement, which is possible, and I've got other videos on that, but that's another subject. Okay, you have to be in status, and you have to have been going full-time to school. Okay, and full-time is designated differently depending on what the particular course is. Like if you're in an English as a second language school, full-time might be only 9 hours a week. If you're in a master's of engineering, full-time might be 12 to 15 hours a week. So it just depends. Okay. So what you want to do is make sure you're in status, make sure you haven't worked without status, and make sure you're full-time. Okay. And then what will happen is you go to the designated school official, prepare all the paperwork, they'll extend your I-20, and boom, you're good to go, okay? So that essentially is, in a nutshell, what you need to do to maintain F-1 status and to extend it to where you need to go. Now, the D/O doesn't really change. You might be saying, well, if D/O says duration of status and the duration, got longer, why can't you just leave it like that? And that's not how it works. When the initial I-20 is prepared, if you need to go longer, then the I-20, I got something in my eye here. What's the dilly? Then the I-20 needs to be extended by the DSO. Okay? And all the necessary paperwork needs to go through. Now, one side note. If you find you're out of status for whatever reason, the DSO doesn't have the ability to do anything. And I've had a lot of people come to me and say, well, the DSO said I had to leave the country and try at the consulate, and period. They didn't even mention about trying to reinstate their status inside the country. Okay? So don't just leave if you're out of status. All right? So that's what needs to be done. So if you find out that you are out of status and that you can't extend it, then do a reinstatement the reinstatement has to be done through USCIS. Then, if you can approve it, then the DSO will be able to, again, have authorization, access to what's called SEVIS, and then you can go from there. All right? Relatively short live, but, to the point, and got what we got. Okay? So let me scroll back here, see if we have any questions. Okay, let's see. Food Blog says hi. Hello, Food Blog. Anything good to eat today? Okay, let's see. How early can you apply for a green card renewal at this time? Well, generally you don't apply for a green card renewal until about 6 months before expiration, okay? And, of course, you have to qualify. Number one, your green card had to have been obtained lawfully. You can't have been gone from the U.S. more than 6 months at a time. I mean, there's issues. If you have been, there's still ways of doing it. But more importantly, you might qualify for naturalization. So I'd have to, if I was giving you the consultation, I have to say, why aren't you applying? Oh, thank you, businessman, the guy who gives me my roses and goats and ice cream cones and what is that? Clouds and jays. Thank you. All right. He always comes through. Okay, so you have to see if you qualify for citizenship, especially the way things are today. Because I'm telling people, if you qualify for citizenship, you should apply for it yesterday. Okay? Why mess around with what Trump's trying to do with green card holders? I mean, we're still fighting it, obviously, and we will continue to fight it. And, he's going to try what he can. But, you can't just bow down to everything that he's doing without court battles. But then again, if you have an opportunity to become a U.S. citizen, why don't you do it? Okay? So that's what I would have to ask is I know you want to renew your green card, but I want to know why you haven't applied for citizenship. It might be because you have a criminal history. It might be because you left the country for too long. Okay? But even if you have, there's ways of still applying. Okay? Let's see. Richard Wong got the number 1 gifter badge. How do you get the number 1 gifter badge? What do you do? All right. Let's see. Let me just scroll down here, see what other questions we have. Oh boy, it's Saturday morning, and I'm tired. Okay. How many people saw me yawn and yawned also? Come on, be honest. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I have a 20-year ban because I entered the second time for asylum, no criminal record, the U.S. So that's not a question there, that's a statement. So I have to interpret what you're saying and try to put a question to it. This is Cord Z. Oh, wait a minute, I see you finished. Entered the U.S. with a U.S. wife. Can I waive and enter to the U.S.? Okay, the answer is yes and no. Okay, first of all, did you try to come back illegally again? If not, are you in the U.S. and are you awaiting to come in? Now, if you've been banned for 20 years and you have a permanent bar, which is a permanent bar, it's not just 20 years. It's a permanent bar. Okay? But given that it's permanent, it's kind of funny. There is a waiver after 10 years. You can waive the permanent bar after 10 years. Now, don't get confused here, because I know you're saying 20 years, but it's not. It's permanent. They want to really dissuade people from entering illegally, okay? And when you do it twice, they really, really want to dissuade you. So I don't know how long you've been outside the U.S., but you cannot apply for a permanent bar until 10 years has passed. Now, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, the other thing to determine is, did you get married for love rather than just trying to enter the U.S.? And there's all kinds of ways that they're going to try to show that, okay? So assuming you did get married for love, and assuming you've been outside the U.S., you can begin the process now, even if the 10 years hasn't passed. because it takes a long time to push everything through. Okay? All right, Harley, can you... Okay, wait. Food blog, you asked the same question again. See, I answered you. Okay. I bet you didn't think that I was going to answer you, so you... Okay. You're in Canada. You went to a point of entry. Okay. So this is Cord, the one with the permanent bar, not the 20-year bar. So the question is, how long have you been outside the country? Okay. Molly got the #1 gifter badge. How can I extend my dissertation for another year and extend the I-20? Well, that's the same thing. That's really saying the same thing. And that's the subject of this live. #1, this is from Peace Love. Are you in immigration status? Are you going to school full time? Did you violate it at all? Okay. If not, go to your DSO. Tell your DSO you need to extend the dissertation for another year because you haven't done everything you need to and you still need to research. The DSO should be able to extend it, extend the I-20, and then boom, you're good to go. Okay, now, obviously, if you go to a different school for the dissertation than where you are now, that's a different issue. But we're not talking about that issue. Okay. Let's see. Yes, you're in status, never violated. Okay, so this is the guy I just answered, so that's good. Okay, just 1 year outside, and I believe seeking asylum is much easier than getting married. No, that's not true. That leads me to believe that maybe you're getting married to get the green card, not because you love the person. And that leads me to believe you're doing anything to try to get in. And you've already tried to apply for asylum twice. And if you're in Canada, does that mean you're a Canadian citizen? And if you're a Canadian citizen, how is it you're applying for asylum? I'm not saying that if you're a Canadian citizen, you don't qualify for asylum, but, generally people from Canada don't get asylum. Generally, people from Canada don't get asylum cases won. I mean, what are you going to argue? Religious persecution? Political persecution? Part of a social group? Okay? So I need to see. Nothing is easy in immigration. I'll tell you what. You cannot use the word easy and immigration in the same sentence. I get consults sometimes. It's so funny. People go, what's the easiest way to immigrate to the U.S.? So my answer is always, there's no easy way to immigrate to the U.S. But let me give you a consult and I'll tell you the realistic ways which you can come. But you may as well throw your idea of easy in the garbage. Okay? It's not happening. All right? I also have people who, perhaps need a waiver or something like that. They go, I'm only going to do it if you can guarantee me success. I go, well, you're going to be in your home country for the rest of your life then. You're going to die in your home country. Because nobody can guarantee you success. I'll tell you what, if an attorney does guarantee you success, they're not an immigration attorney. Or they're pretending to be an immigration attorney. Or they're pretending to be an attorney. Or they're inexperienced. Nobody can guarantee you success. That's like saying, honestly, this is like saying, I know what the adjudication officer is going to do. I can look in the future in the crystal ball. I can say, #1, they're going to follow the law. And #2, they're going to rule in your favor. I mean, that's not true, right? So that's all the more reason to get someone who knows what they're doing. Because someone who knows what they're doing is going to be able to do a whole lot better trying to persuade them to say yes than, for example, you. I mean, you may be an expert at whatever it is you do, but it's most likely not immigration law, okay? Alrighty. Just a second. Okay. So this is from Boo. Boo! Did I get your attention? 2003, entered without inspection 2 times, still in the U.S., no criminal record, family-based case. Can we file a 212 prior to maximum consent proceedings? Well, I'll tell you what. It would be a humongous mistake for you to think you can do that. You're about to engage in 2 huge mistakes. One, you don't qualify for a 212 right now. Entering without inspection twice, and you're in the U.S., means that you were not deported. Okay? I mean, you're in the U.S., so it's unlikely you were deported. An I-212 is for only people who have been deported. Okay? And that, my friend, doesn't apply to you. Secondly, you seem to think that you can just go through and do consulate processing even though you're subject to the permanent bar, which you are subject to the permanent bar because you entered twice without inspection, unless the first time was prior to when the permanent bar came into law. Okay, that would have been before 1996. I honestly doubt that is your case. I mean, if it is, let me know. Okay, so you should not do this. You can't do consulate processing now. You can't do the 212. There might be other paths available to you, but you need to contact me. Do not take one step outside the country to consular process in Mexico based on what you're telling me. Did I make that crystal clear? Okay. You're welcome, peace love. Okay. Is asylum interviews fast in Indiana? Okay, first of all, what does it matter if it's fast? By asking me if it's fast, what you're really saying is, I know I'm going to get approved. Let's get this thing on the road and have them interview me. Okay, first of all, it's faster in Indiana than it is in Los Angeles because there's less people applying for asylum in Indiana than Los Angeles. But then by the same token, if I had to pick an asylum officer to interview me and I was outside the country, I'd pick Los Angeles 1,000 times over Indiana. That's just a reality. Thirdly, if I were you and you did this yourself, you need to go to an immigration lawyer to try to supplement it before the interview. Because I'm telling you, I'm an immigration lawyer. If let's say, for example, I went somewhere and I wanted to apply for asylum in another country. I'm an immigration lawyer in the U.S., and I still would hire an immigration lawyer in that country to help me. I would not do it myself. Okay? I know you think, a lot of people, that you just fill out the form and you say you're persecuted in your home country and you think that's all it takes to win. I'll tell you what, there's a 17% approval rate. And that was before Trump got into office. And now you got people who are applying who have very hostile trial attorneys. I mean, I just had a case. Actually, one of my attorneys went. He goes, do you remember so-and-so and so-and-so? Because that person used to work for me. I trained her. and he goes, I go, yeah, I remember her. He goes, well, she was the trial attorney. I go, well, how's she doing? She goes, she was like super hostile to the client. Like denied everything. And the judge even had to put her on track to calm her down. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a shame. Because I would never train an attorney to needlessly be hostile to the other side. Number one, I think it's unprofessional. I don't think it makes you a better attorney. I think it doesn't make legal argument. And I think by being hostile, it shows you don't have a good legal argument. For some reason, it basically shows you're angry. That's what being hostile does. It shows you're angry. I've also had attorneys in the past, they're hostile because they want to get under the skin of the other attorney and try to get them to blow, to make them look unprofessional, okay? So, Trump, I'm sure, issued an order to the trial attorneys, or to the head, said, do everything you can to deny an asylum. Fight it tooth and nail, okay? Which is okay, they got to follow directions and all that. But you can do it professionally. You don't have to sit there and badger the client because, they're just trying to apply for something under the law. You don't have to sit there and yell and scream and make it seem like, you're going to put every roadblock up under the sun. You can still put every roadblock up under the sun. Just do it professionally. I mean, can you imagine arguing a case in front of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals or whatever Court of Appeals you happen to be at, which I've been at several times, and yelling at them? You know what they would do? They would shut you down in 2 seconds. They would tell you to compose yourself and come back and be professional. So if if a circuit judge tells you that, why do you think at a trial court level you can do that? Anyways, that's that. Okay. This is the guy who applied for asylum in Indiana. You applied in January. You applied in January and you're asking me now? You know, in immigration law, that's like a drop in the bucket. Even don't even think you're going to get an interview for 3 to 6 months, at least. Okay, that's the reality. Moral, got the number 2 gifter badge. Why is my lawyer stalling giving me papers from when he won my hubby's relief case? He blames the court. That doesn't make sense. This is YG33. I don't understand. First of all, you say your lawyer, but you say your lawyer won your hubby's case. Okay, is your lawyer representing both of you? If he is, and he won your husband's case, was your husband's case separate from yours? Were you a derivative? Did your husband win, and then could he petition you? I don't know. You need to contact me. I need more facts to see what's going on. Okay, moral. Is it still that they suspended the green cards for asylee? What's the update? I think you asked this question before, earlier in another session. I mean, yeah, Trump is still trying to snap his fingers and think that he can override the law, the Constitution, and basically everything legal in this land. And, these cases are going to court to show that he can't do that. So, yeah, as of now, certain ones are suspended under executive order, because of national security, which is a load of you-know-what. But the courts will resolve it. I'm not going to get an ulcer over this. I know the courts will resolve it. They'll show he doesn't have the authority to do this. They'll issue the injunctions. It'll go back to the way he does, and then he'll try to throw something else at the wall. That's how it is. Okay. Do you think Trump eventually learned what asylum is? Jen, that's a good question. He doesn't care what asylum is. He doesn't care how to apply for asylum. It doesn't matter to him. To him, he only looks at people applying for asylum who are not U.S. citizens, and he wants them denied now. Okay? He does not need to understand any. I'm sure he does not understand asylum because it doesn't matter. He just wants them out. So the law allows asylum, period, and they can apply. Okay, he can make it more difficult, that's for sure, but he can't just stop it like he's trying. Okay, all right. Vanessa, can I apply for an I-212 in the USA? Got expedited removal in 2019, but came right back after illegally. Okay, the answer is no. The answer is yes. You can always apply for a 212 while inside the U.S., but it's not going to be granted. Okay, you got an expedited removal and you turned around and came back illegally, which means you're subject to a permanent removal. You're under the misimpression, I believe, that you think that you're subject to a 5-year bar. First of all, even if you didn't come back illegally, the 5-year bar means you have to stay outside for 5 years. Now, let's pretend that you came in the U.S. and you were expeditedly removed. And then the day after, you applied for the 212. Yes, you can do that. And you don't have to wait. Hey, everybody, I got a goal. Get 3 roses in 6 minutes. Can somebody give me a rose? So you can't apply for the 212 if you're not going to qualify. Thank you, Mr. Grinch. He gave me a rose. Appreciate it. You sent me 2, all right. Appreciate it. Oh, and Pac-Man, give me a rose. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. And Mohammed. Oh, my God. Wow, look at all these roses. Holy cow. I've got a garden. I appreciate it. All right, yay. Woo! Live goal achieved. Okay, appreciate it. Oh, sorry. I get so excited. You don't qualify. 212, by the way, is when you have a deportation order, you have a bar. The 212 is the petition to remove the bar or ban so you can come back in. It doesn't apply if you have a permanent bar. You can't apply to remove the permanent bar. Okay, there's other things that can be done, but you have some issues. Okay, give my office a call. Okay, just a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Just a minute. You know what? I just scrolled down. I was at questions and it scrolled down like 100 people. Just a minute. There we go. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is from Mohammed. I got my asylum application approved last September. Can I still apply for the green card? Okay. Mohammed, you happen to be under one of these, the crazy order that Trump did that pretends that people in your situation cannot apply for a green card, okay? So it's not as easy as it used to be, but absolutely, if I was representing you, absolutely, positively, yes. When 1 year rolls around, you do. And then, assuming they deny it because they say, well, we have an executive order that says, chances are honestly, by time you apply, there'll already be an injunction saying what he can't do what he's trying to do. But assuming there's not, saying what he can't do what he's trying to do. But assuming there's not, you apply, they deny because of some crazy, ridiculous executive order. Then we go to federal court and argue that there's no authority for that executive order. The U.S. District Court will then overrule and allow it to go forward. And then, of course, they can appeal that. So again, you might have to fight your case more than you would have before. But absolutely, do not sit on your rear and not apply because he issued some crazy executive order that violates the law, the Constitution, and 20 other things. Okay? And him sending that memo trying to stop immigration attorneys from fighting and representing their clients is shameful. Okay? And I'll tell you what, the majority of immigration attorneys I know, that's not going to stop them from properly fighting. It's not going to chill the immigration attorneys from doing what they have to do under the law. In fact, it's going to put a fire under them to make sure they do what they have to do. Okay? It just means fighting more court battles, but that's how it is. Okay? All right. This is from Jen. His good friend Hannibal Lecter. Is that a joke? I don't get it. Okay. From Mr. Grinch. If I got a 212H waiver with my green card, can you travel? Can CBP deny me entry? Judge granted my green card. Okay, well, first of all, if the judge granted your green card, wait till you have the green card in your hand. Don't leave the country until you have the green card in your hand. So I don't know when it was granted. I mean, if you got a 212H waiver granted with the green card, why would you chance leaving now until you have the green card in your hand? You should be able to get the green card very shortly. Okay, I mean, we're talking just months. Okay, don't chance this. Don't leave until you have that in your hand. Okay, and then here's from Corsi. You have protected status here, but you love your wife. Same religion and culture. Okay, Cords, you need to contact me directly. There's a lot of different issues in your case. And then I'll get it straight and let you know how I can help you. Okay. And this is the same question. 212H waiver, green card travel, can CBP deny me entry? I mean, the answer is, if you leave now without your green card, even though the judge granted it, there's still possibilities they could deny you. Okay? So don't do that until you get the green card. Okay. The Chosen. Okay, sorry. I'm not familiar with all these initials. You're saying LDK. What does that mean? Does L mean love and K means no? If that's the case, what is the D? Sorry. So I'll just start with the word after that. If an LPR citizen, some lawyer made me an N400 instead of an N600, which am I eligible for? Okay. I can't just tell you that without knowing, okay, without having the facts. An N-600 is for derivative citizenship. So, and that depends on many different factors. Okay, that depends on a lot of different factors. When did you get the green card? When did your parents become citizens? What was the residency requirements? When did this occur? What was the law in effect at that time? So I'd always need to do an analysis of whether you qualify for the N-600 rather than the N-400. If you have a choice, you do the N-600 because that means you acquired citizenship by law, and there's no way they can take that away from you. And then 400 is citizenship through naturalization, and there's issues with, number one, how to get that, and also with them trying to take that away from you. Okay? Call my office. Okay. Let's see. What about asylee green cards? Okay, I think I'm pretty sure I answered that. Okay, just a minute. Where is your office located? My physical office is located in Long Beach, California, but I have clients all over the U.S. Immigration law is federal law, and I'll tell you what, it's better you get an expert to help you rather than someone who happens to be local. And besides, I do consults all the time through Zoom, Facebook, whatever, Skype. And what's it matter if I'm sitting 10,000 miles from you, but, we have the screen going back and forth? What's it matter if that versus you're sitting in my office? I'm still me. I'm still an expert immigration attorney. It doesn't matter how far I am from you. I can still prepare and do everything, Just saying. Okay. Let's see. Do you have to go to your home country to renew your F-1, or can you renew it from here? Good question, OJ. That's the whole purpose of this live. If you're in status and you haven't violated it, you go to your DSO, designated school official, ask them to extend the I-20, and then you don't have to leave. Okay, you can do it here. You don't have to leave. Okay, you can do it here. Okay. Vanessa, you're now married to a U.S. citizen. Congratulations. There's nothing I can do without departing from my own country. That depends. How did you enter the country? Do you enter legally or illegally? Was there anything filed for you prior to 1991? Do your parents here? Did they file? And you need to make sure you qualify. How long have you known your U.S. citizen husband? Where did you get married? When did you enter the U.S.? Okay, lots of different questions. So it's possible. But even if you can't adjust status in the U.S., then I need to see if you can do consulate processing with a provisional waiver so that when you leave, you would only have to leave for a week or two, and then you could come back if all approves with the residency. Okay? All right. How long does F-1 take to get approved? Well, it depends. Are you doing a change? This is for Pat. Are you doing a change of status to F-1 in the U.S., or are you outside the U.S. and you want to get an F-1? Basically, if you're outside, it doesn't need prior USCIS approval. You can prepare the whole package, get the appointment at the consulate, and then if it's approved, they'll approve it right there. If you're inside the U.S. and you do a change of status, that takes months, depending. There's no expedited processing. Okay. I have an upcoming individual hearing. Do I need to be scared I might not be granted asylum? Absolutely, positively. And you understand what an individual hearing is. That's a trial. And that's like anything. Criminal law, civil law. Everybody who goes to trial needs to be afraid that it'll be denied or it won't be approved. That's the reality. Are you doing this yourself? Are you trying to represent yourself to do it? If so, get an attorney to help you. Get an immigration attorney. I would need to evaluate whether you have a good case or not. You can have a good case and still lose. That's the reality. But even if you have an attorney, if you have a good case and you lose, the attorney will have preserved the record in sufficient fashion so that it can be appealed. Okay? All right. Second. Just a minute. Can I go to the U.S. with an ESTA on a work-related stints, or will I go back to my home country to finish? No. This is from Pacmon. No. ESTA is not to come and work. ESTA is to come and go to Disneyland, go to the top of the Empire State Building, visit your friends. It's not to work. If you want to come in and do work-related stints, you need to get a proper visa for that. Can you visit your home country after you became a U.S. citizen through asylum? I mean, the answer is yes. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're going, you applied for asylum because of persecution in your home country. You got a green card. Now you can go back to your home country. How could that possibly be? The answer is yes, unless you lied about everything. Okay, I mean, it's not like you're going to go back to your home country, go on television and go, hey, I got asylum in the U.S. and nothing you can do. Okay, you're going to keep under the radar. It doesn't mean they can't ask you questions when you come back, but yes, you're legally able to. Okay, we're approaching the end of the live here. Why? Because I'm getting tired. You know, and it's Saturday. Good, go outside and relax. Okay. Okay, and then OJ asked a follow-up question. Great, thanks. They can extend the I-20, but I can't travel out without coming back without renewing. Well, those are two different issues. You can extend your stay here legally, okay? But if you leave and your visa has already expired, then yes, you do need to get that renewed to come back in, okay? Well, we got one more. I'm going to answer one more question. Okay. Actually, I think I got most of them. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, yeah, I think I got most of them. So we're good. All right, everybody. Thank you for all the gifts and all that. I appreciate it. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, have a good day.